Hi, this is Alyssa, and Javier, Arturo, me, and Miguel will be doing this presentation on the Exactis breach. So, first of all, we will be going over who is Exactis. We will be talking about what happened in this data breach. We will talk about how it was discovered, and then we'll give suggestions on how it can be avoided in the future. Now, this breach happened in 2018, and Exactis is one of the largest data companies in the world. They compile data and they have all sorts of records of who you are and where you live and your phone number and all sorts of personal information about you, behavioral information. And there was a data breach, and there was data that was open to the public that somebody could find. So we will go over all of that in this recording, and then we will talk about how Compilex, our company, can avoid all of these things in the future and not make the same mistakes as Exactis.
Okay, who is Exactis? Exactis is a leading compiler and aggregator of premium business and consumer data. What does this mean? Pretty much, it means that Exactis is a web-based company who aggregates, or they frequently update content from various internet sources, and they compile them into one place or one giant database for viewing. And so, let's see here. What do they do with these records? Well, first of all, Exactis, they're known to actually contain over, or have acquired over 3.5 billion records. And these records, they actually use them for marketing purpose and to target specific either individuals or companies. And so they actually sell these records to big companies like, for example, Facebook or YouTube or eBay. And so if you've ever been searching the web and you notice that an ad pops up, let's say you're on Facebook and you really like guns or something, and something pops up regarding guns, and you say to yourself, how did Facebook know that this is for me? And you actually click on it and you buy a gun, then this is Exactis, a company like Exactis actually working on you. They're meeting their end target by giving out this information about you, so that it can so you can click on it and actually purchase something. Let's see here. Now, what type of information is included with this? Well, Exactis actually, they contain over 400 different selects, or they can contain up to 400 different selects on people, businesses, or different companies. And these different types of information, although they don't contain any financial information, they can include things like your demographics, your background, like your ethnic background, where you come from, what town you live in. It can even contain like your address, how many kids you have, if you have a dog, if you like to go for runs, or different things, your likes and dislikes. And so it's very interesting how specific these things or these types of information can get about you. So that's pretty much who Exactis is.
So what happened? In 2018, June, 340 million records, which is almost 2 terabytes of data, were exposed. 230 million of these records were from consumers, and 110 million of these records were from consumers. And each record that was exposed has about 400 plus variables. So, for example, your phone number, your home address, your email, the number of children you have, your habits, your hobbies. So some of these were behavioral, some of these were just facts. And luckily, no very personal information like your credit card or social security numbers were exposed. And so the amount of this data and the very personal nature of this data that was exposed could have been a catastrophe if somebody with wrong intentions had got their hands on it. This could have definitely helped a scammer impersonate one of these people that was had a record here with Exactis. And we will move on to the next slide and talk about how this data breach and data exposure was discovered.
Hi, my name is Arturo. and I'm going to talk about how Exactis breach was discovered. While it's far from clear if any criminal or malicious hackers have access to the database, a digital investigator, Benny Troya, found exposed data. Says it would have been easy enough for them to find. Troya himself exploited the database while using the search tool Shodan. Shodan does what Google does. The only difference is that one will bring more specific and greater amounts of data, whereas Google is interested in pretty images and blog contents, basic content. Shodan Search will also render results by country, network operating system, and ports, and allows researchers to scan for all manner of internet-connected devices. He says he's been curious about the security of Elasticsearch, a popular type of database that is designed to be easily queried over the internet using just the command line. So he simply used Shodan to search for Elasticsearch databases that are visible on public accessible servers with an American IP address. That result returned about 7,000 different databases. In a story I combed through them, he quickly found Exactis database, and it was unprotected by any firewall. Now, after that, all the findings were reported to the FBI, and currently the database is not accessible to the public.
Hello, I'm Miguel Lopez and I will talk to you about how it can be avoided in the future. So, as we see early in this presentation, Exactis made several errors that allow their database to be accessible on the internet. As a company, we want to avoid this same oversight, so here are a few suggestions to keep our data safe. Firm regulations and safety rules must be implemented. Servers are encrypted. We need to use passwords and firewalls. Quality assurance must test the security of our database and servers on a regular basis. The government should be aware of the data we are storing and what our purpose is for this data. Customers have an option to opt out of having their data stored. California is currently preparing to enact a law to will require this option by 2020. So this is a quote from Eric S. Raymond, and he says, if your company spends more on coffee than on IT security, you will be hacked. What's more, you'll deserve to be hacked. And mistakes are always a possibility, but we can reduce that probability of their occurrence. Making a plan, working as a team, and taking action steps will allow us to ensure the security of our consumers.
Okay, so in conclusion, Exactis, who is an aggregator company, they left billions of records exposed. And because of this, because they left this database exposed and unprotected, over 340 million records were able to be easily accessed by anybody. We don't know who was able to access them, but anybody could have accessed them and use this information to compromise other people. And so what we need to learn from this is that Compilix, our company, we need to learn from Exactis' mistake and make sure that we take measures to ensure the safety of our databases and our records. Make sure that we don't leave any databases exposed or without protection.